kids on the way.
So you have children on the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Perhaps twins.
All right. And how long have you been homeless?
That was back in 2020. I'm no longer homeless anymore.
Why would you, and this is just a question that I want answered because I'm always curious. And I think if you're in the legal field, you need to be curious. Why would you continue to have children when you're not stable? Versus Isaiah Gibson. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, hand daughter.
Defense?
James Seeloff for the defendant, Your Honor.
Are you Isaiah Gibson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, probation, this is an application.
Thank you.
Counsel.
Deferred. And it's, we're asking the court to waive PSI. The state recommends.
All right, just a second.
Okay.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I have.
All right. Mr. Gibson, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, you said this was an application for deferred as well?
This is a deferred adjudication recommended by the state, part of the plea bargain. I just wanted to let you know.
All right, thank you. I see where you hand wrote that. All
Because
right.
you don't have a phone.
We
for
need an
deferred.
application for deferred
Or don't
adjudication.
you grant deferred? Is that why you don't have?
All right, they're printing some more. Oh, no, you can just ask other people in the courtroom. Yes, we give deferreds in this courtroom. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We waive.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
on both counts? Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't say.
We're gonna go to one count one, Judge. I'm assuming that's what defense counsel worked out with.
We talked about it.
All right. Any objection to the waiver of count two?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gibson, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense in count one of theft of a vehicle, $30,000 to $150,000
Yes, ma'am.
as a third-degree felony?
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you're giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, he has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he is.
Mr. Gibson, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution, if any, to Home Depot located at 5638 West Loop 1604, San Antonio 78251. There is to be cats 1 and 2, and there's to be, well, the court will probably order no contact with Home Depot. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
That's our plea.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
This is it. If she follows the plea bargain, you can appeal.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes,
We
yes,
went
ma'am.
over that.
All right, council, have there been any such motions?
No.
Showing you outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 8 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and no contact with the Home Depot at 5638 West Loop 1604. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
To count one, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State Exhibit number 1 with office attachments.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor. Part of the plea bargain is they're gonna dismiss a misdemeanor case. I don't know if the court read off the number, but there
It's
is.
not in here.
It's a dismissal, and I believe prosecutor is gonna give it to you.
All right,
Thank you.
all right.
Am I right?
Yes, it's just not on the plea bargain agreement, so the judge will not know about it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem. All right, state, you may continue to confer.
Thank you.
Going to show you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses? There'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so why are you taking what does not belong to you?
I was homeless and it was an opportunity for me to get some money, a payment, and I just didn't know what to do at the time. And I'm just owning up to my mistakes, Your Honor.
How old are you?
26.
All right, being homeless doesn't give you the excuse or pass to commit crimes. Because if that's the case, then everybody can be homeless and everybody who's homeless can say, oh yeah, I robbed a bank, I'm homeless. And I'm admitting that I robbed a bank. Excuse me and forgive me because I'm homeless. That's not an excuse to commit crime. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
There are laws. So do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
I have a 7-year-old, 1-year-old, and I have kids on the way.
So you have children on the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Perhaps twins.
All right. And how long have you been homeless?
That was back in 2020. I'm no longer homeless anymore.
Why would you, and this is just a question that I want answered because I'm always curious. And I think if you're in the legal field, you need to be curious. Why would you continue to have children when you're not stable? For example, you have a 7-year-old, a 1-year-old, and now you say you have children on the way. Why would you bring other children into this world and do activities that will result in children being brought in this world and you don't even have your life together?
That's just my mistake, Your Honor.
No, I mean, it's not a mistake. Those are choices. People choose to do whatever activities they do. So I'm trying to figure out why people keep doing activities or not being responsible in the activities that they do and bringing children in this world that they're not prepared to raise. Do you understand that taxpayers are tired of taking care of other people's children?
Yes, ma'am.
So these children that you're about to have, if you do daycare and you're getting, you don't have to pay the full price of daycare. You know why you don't? Because taxpayers are paying for it, not you. If you get housing and you're really supposed to be paying $2,500 a month and you're really paying $34 a month, you know who's picking up that tab? Taxpayers. Taxpayers are tired of doing that. And you're old enough to know better and you're old enough to know where children come from. So why would you be irresponsible, make a choice to have these children and you're not taking care of them?
Well, I am taking care of my 1-year-old son I have now. And that was like 2-3 years ago when I wasn't with my other mother of my child.
So how many mothers of children do you have?
It's just 2.
All right. So while you're out there homeless, who was paying for your child to eat? Think about that. Because a 7-year-old, a 1-year-old, You can't just put them at Travis Park and say, well, I've helped create you, go forth, hunt for yourself. So when you're homeless and when you're saying, I can't get my life together, who is providing diapers for your children? Because I know people don't do cotton anymore because people think that's beneath them. But when you can't afford the Pampers or whatever, you should go back to cotton. So when you're homeless and not doing anything, who's supporting your children? Because it wasn't you.
At the time, it was the mother of my child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And so when you have children, you can't fall down on your job because they can't financially support themselves. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, since this has happened, he has been employed and he assures me that he's employable once he's released.
All right. And why were you homeless?
Well, I just didn't want to go back home, and I couldn't find a good job, but I lost my ID, and I just couldn't find the money to go get a new ID.
So you'd rather be homeless than go back home.
No, my mom wasn't allowing me to go back home.
All right. And how old were you?
I was 23 at the time.
All right. Is your mom a good mom?
Yes, ma'am.
So she probably wasn't allowing you to go back home because you don't want to follow her rules. And I always tell people, when you go back home to live with your mom, you're not an adult because you're not paying for the roof that's over your head and you're not paying for food. And I'm sure your mom probably was saying, I'm not going to have a grown man just living at my house doing nothing. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
And what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
I was planning on getting my CDL and driving trucks because I have a cousin who has his own trucking company, and I wanted to drive trucks with him.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 8 years deferred adjudication. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. There's restitution to Home Depot, if any. And that's the Home Depot located at 5638 West Loop, 1604, 78251. And there's to be no contact with Home Depot. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular UAs. 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once he completes parenting classes, the court will allow him 50 hours to be subtracted from the 200 hours. And I'm going to order that you're in some type of trade school. So if you want to get your CDL license, you can. Once that is done, then the remaining of the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice.
Thank
They want
Your
you,
Honor.
well, they want you to do cats 1 and 2. You have all these children that you need to take care of and hopefully you can spend some time with. Here's my cats 1 and 2. Don't take what doesn't belong to you. If you rent a vehicle or rent property, you need to return it when it says it's due in the contract. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
I would like to get a new ID, but I still have to renew my license as well.
All right, so you'll have to do that. If you tell probation about that, they'll give you the steps that you need in order to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
But what I can tell you, I've recently had my license renewed, and guess what? You got to make an appointment. And they're going to want your birth certificate or either passport. And if you don't have those, they will give you a temporary ID and make you pay the $33 for it. And guess what? It's only good for 2 weeks.
County, sir.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, You do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Do better.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.